Hello everyone and welcome to the Week 8 edition of Instant Replay, where I give you my take on the most controversial calls of the weekend. I'm Simon Borg. We started RFK Stadium, where there was a red card issued in the first half. FC Dallas right back Loyd is sitting on a yellow when he goes studs up into Davy Arnaud's shin right under the nose of the referee. He gets a second yellow, but I thought it should have been a straight red. That red card turned the match, and DC went on to win 4-1. And DC probably could have had a penalty on top of that. In the 70th minute, Jair Benitez has a poor touch in the box, and Fabian Espindola beats him to the ball. In a haste to get it back, Benitez clearly brings him down. No call by referee Fotis Bazakos. But Bazakos did react to this Michel tackle in the 89th minute on Chris Rolfe. Yeah, Michel's studs are up, but they're in front of Rolfe. I'm not sure I would have even awarded a yellow for this one, unless the referee saw something in Michel's arm swinging around Rolfe's head. But even there, I'm not sure there's enough for the red. The most talked about ejection of the weekend came in Foxborough, where Sporting KC's Aurelien Collins got his first ever MLS red card in the 74th minute. But the first two looks really don't tell the story here. It's only on this replay that you see Collins' right studs go into the ankle of Diego Fagundes. That could have done some real damage, endangering the safety of an opponent? You betcha! This image tweeted at us by Ben Deshane at RevGunner on Twitter says it all. The match was decided late on a goal by the Revolution's Teal Bunbury, and then this penalty kick awarded in stoppage time. Uy Rosell raises his arms in the air and swings at this Fagundes header. It's a handball and a penalty, but while I wouldn't have given a red for denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, it's just not that obvious, I would have at least issued a caution for unsportsmanlike conduct. But Rosell doesn't get any card from referee Alan Kelly. That penalty sealed a 2-0 Revs win, but could Sporting have also had their own spot kick? It's the 39th minute, and Dom Dwyer gains position on Andrew Farrell, only to be pushed to the ground right along the end line. That's a foul anywhere else on the field, and while it would have felt harsh with the ball heading out of play, I would have called it. There was another call to make in the box for referee David Gantar in Houston, and it's one we don't usually see. In the 66th minute, there's this back pass by a Portland player to goalkeeper Donovan Ricketts, but he makes a bit of a mess of it, and he has to use his hand to knock it away from Will Bruin. But goalkeepers cannot touch it with their hands on a back pass, and the indirect free kick inside the box is called, but the Dynamo can't take advantage. The Vancouver Whitecaps sure capitalized on a favorable call in the 86th minute at Rio Tinto Stadium. Assistant referee Babacar Jallo doesn't flag for this offside on a goal by Nicolas Mesquida, which started the Caps' comeback. Mesquida's clearly ahead of the last defender on the shot by Darren Maddox. The goal set the stage for this beauty from Sebastian Fernandez that tied it up. Next to San Jose, where there were 3 first-half yellow cards shown to Quakes players, all for fouls on Chivas USA's Mauro Rosales. We take a look at 2 of them here. First, left back Jordan Stewart earns a caution for this reckless challenge on Rosales. The studs are showing, but they are in front of the player. They're not heading into him. It's very similar to what happened with Michel in DC, in my opinion. Yellow is the right color of the card in San Jose, and the referee has a great view of it. 8 minutes later, it's San Jose's Alan Gordon, also with the studs showing, and he goes in really, really late and stomps on Rosales. He gets a yellow, but to me this is red card worthy because it endangers the safety of his opponent, just like Aurelien Collins did at Gillette Stadium. Gordon got lucky in my opinion. Eventually there was a red shown in this game by referee Alan Chapman, and it came in the 76th minute to Chivas USA goalkeeper Dan Kennedy. He clearly denies an obvious goal-scoring opportunity by handling the ball outside the box. No brainer on that one. One more from Buckshaw. It's the 67th minute, and Shea Salinas threads a ball for Chris Wondolowski, who scores, but it's called back for offside. Good call by assistant referee Ian Anderson. There were a couple of questionable offside calls in Montreal. First, in the 70th minute, it looks like Marco Di Vaio was kept on by the defender, but assistant referee Eric Boria flags him for another offside. Maybe it's out of habit. Di Vaio is the co-leader in offside with 34. Then, a minute later, the Philadelphia Union thought they scored an equalizer. But even though Antoine Hoppeneau was onside on the original pass from Brian Carroll, you see that Andrew Winger gets a touch on the ball as it makes its way to Hoppeneau. And when that touch happens, Hoppeneau is in fact offside. Good eye by assistant referee Oscar Michel Carvalho. Referee Baldomero Toledo also had a fair share of work to do in this one. We start with the first-minute yellow card to Maurice Edu for making contact with the face of Felipe Martins. You don't typically see a card for this, but I like it. All the face massaging, totally unnecessary. Then, in the 38th minute, Toledo had to rule on this challenge by Aaron Wheeler on DeVayo. And in my opinion, he correctly lets play continue. That's actually a great defensive play by Wheeler, who makes a fantastic recovery. And he's simply stronger than the Italian. Speaking of strong people, Montreal defender Hassoun Kamara fits into that category, and he may very well fancy himself a wrestler after what we saw in the 37th minute. Check out the choke slam on Fabinho. That's applauded in the ring, but it gets you a yellow card on the soccer field. Why is that play so important? Because there are two other instances where I think Kamara should have earned a second yellow. Here in the 65th minute, I think he stops a promising attack when he brings down Opino, and we can even lip read Opino asking the referee, why is that not a card? Then in the 79th minute, Kamara pulls down Vincent Nogueira just outside the box, but no foul is called. Lucky for him. Next to Crew Stadium and the 1-1 draw between Columbus and New York. The home team took the lead on a 38th-minute penalty kick, and it's pretty clear. Kosuke Kimura realizes he's beaten to the ball by Justin Miram, and he extends both arms to throw the Crew attacker off balance. Referee Jeff Gamble calls it, and Jairo Arrieta does the rest. Earlier in the game, there was a lot made of the Tony Tchani stomp on Red Bulls forward Bradley Wright Phillips, but I think this is just 2 feet coming together on a 50-50 ball. Tchani was in the process of putting his body between the ball and the opponent, and Wright Phillips lunges in to try to beat him to the ball. It's still reckless, and I think the yellow card from Gamble was the right call. Now, Wright Phillips got a yellow of his own just before halftime. This tackle on Federico Higuain might have been permitted in 1980s English football, but not these days. Sure, Wright Phillips wins the ball, but he also does it with no regard for Higuain. That's the definition of reckless and a yellow card. You know who did cross the line in my opinion? New York's Loyd Sam. It's the second half, and look how he applies this hit on Tchani with the ball long gone. It's a dirty, cheap shot off the ball on a fellow professional, who by the way needs treatment to that left leg and has to momentarily come out of the game. There's no place in the game for that stuff. We've seen red cards given for this, and I would have been okay if it was shown to Sam. Last one from this one, an interesting play in the 3rd minute. There's this long ball over the top, and Thierry Henry knows he's offside, but he's jogging in the opposite direction of the ball with his arms raised, removing himself from the play. It falls for Eric Alexander, who cannot capitalize. Now, you're thinking great job by assistant referee Gianni Facchini keeping his flag down, except for the fact that the ball touches Henry despite his best efforts. That play should have been whistled dead. And we end in Seattle, where the referee crew, led by Armando Villarreal, had a pretty clean match. The one play you can perhaps pick out is the 27-minute challenge by Chris Kloot on DeAndre Yedlin. I think Kloot pushes him and clips him, but even if you call a foul there, it's outside the box. Villarreal got it spot on in the 33rd minute. The Colorado Rapids wanted a penalty for a handball on Jimmy Traore, but although his arm is in an unnatural position, Marshall heads the ball into Traore's arm from less than 2 feet away. No time to react, ball to hand. And lastly, Villarreal issued 2 yellow cards in the match, but here's one he missed in the 60th minute. Seattle Sounders left back Dylan Remick makes yet another foray into the attack, and there's contact from Marlon Hairston. But he doesn't go down. Instead, Remick takes a few steps and then flops. If there's an all-time greatest dives compilation, this now jumps to the very top in my book. Heck, if you look at it close enough, you might even think that Remick is doing some sort of ballet move. The MLS Disciplinary Committee may be a little less lighthearted about the incident. That's all we have for this week. For our editor, John Benton, I'm Simon Borg. See you next time.